Scott, I'm just interested. You haven't played for Connacht, haven't played a game for nearly a month, and I suppose the break was good. But how have you set up that gap? I know the players and the coaches had a break, but then how did you fill in the? Did you do anything different? And then is this just a match week?
Well, it's different. There's the ability to train hard for a number of times that week, and over the previous fortnight we had chances to train really hard over that time. So you don't get that on a match week. You probably only train really hard today of all days, and other days you kind of obviously tapering for the weekend. So we had things we need to work on from the first block. So to be able to do those and over a number of sessions was really good for the guys.
Well, anything specific that you were sort of working on yourself?
There's always something with us, I think there's areas I thought we've obviously finished the URC games well in terms of defence. Obviously the weather plays its part in that. It's nice defending in the rain, of course, and I thought obviously the Bristol game was a good performance defensively, but there's a few things we got to work on. As always, stick to our principles and stick to our fundamentals around D, and we'll be good.
Would you have preferred, considering the fact that the Bristol game was a good performance, good win, and there was something at the end of it, would you prefer to actually to keep going and maybe play another game or two, or was the break really necessary?
Yeah, I think it's nice to have a break as well. I think I think what was it, 13 games in a row or something like that. So I think it gets tiring. Guys need to get away and freshen up as well. So as much as it would have been nice to come in and enjoy that when you have a good win on a Monday, enjoy the win. I think that's really nice to celebrate wins and also learn from the win as well. But it was also, I think it's great for guys to step away, get time away from here as well, and time with their families and things like that. So.
Have you been watching the Six Nations?
Yeah, I went to the game on the weekend, so it was obviously Ireland have been really impressive defensively, especially. I think to concede, they've hardly conceded. I think they conceded 2 tries versus the French, and otherwise have been and to concede no points versus Italy. I know people say Italy were poor, but at the same time, I think to defend as well as they did in that game is really special. So hats off to them, they're going really well.
Have you seen anything in the games, in the defensive setups that's different, that's sort of striking you that sides are doing stuff?
No, obviously everyone's talking about England and what they're doing defensively and how aggressive they're being. So, it's worked for them in those first 2 games, and we've got 2 wins. And Wales had opportunities to break it down and couldn't do so. So, be interesting. I'm looking forward to probably that England-Ireland game and see where that goes, and whether the Ireland attack can break down what is looking like a strong English defence.
They're at a rush defence, aren't they? They're just coming up very, very quickly. There's probably a little bit more going on.
Yeah,
but it does seem to be, they're under pressure at times almost by the way they're defending, but they're getting used to a completely new system. Yeah,
I think so. I think South Africans obviously perfected that system, and they do it so well, and it puts a lot of pressure on the attack. And we hope to be aggressive ourselves defensively, but obviously do it a slightly different ways than other teams do as well.
Is it all about speed, and is it all about all the players doing it? If one player decides, I'm not sure here.
Yeah, I'm not in their system, so I couldn't tell you exactly. I've seen.
Well, you're in your system.
But I think it's a lot to do with the big athletic forwards they have, doing that time and time again. But you look at the South Africans, and they do it really well, and they're quite fit, and they managed to do it time and time again during those games. And you saw that in the Ireland South African game of the World Cup, where they just kept coming, and obviously Ireland were doing the same. So. It's remarkable how hard the guys work at that level of the game, isn't it? I think that's probably for our guys is trying to get to that international standard and how hard guys work in that.
Bundy got a break this weekend, and Finlay got a start, so it's going all right for them. Finlay had a good game. He was tearing it up in the scrum.
Yeah, no, he's been really good, Finlay. So I think obviously the scrum part's excellent, but I think from my area defensively, he's been really solid for us all year. So he's a good player, knows how to play the game well. He deserves starts and deserves the caps he gets because he's a good pro as well.
Yeah, I was asking Pete yesterday, would he maybe be available for a sneaky half hour against Cardiff, but it's unlikely. He's now a dad, so he's got plenty of other things.
Busy, yeah.
What are you expecting from Cardiff this weekend?
I think it's been a difficult challenge, especially there. You know, I think they're getting a sellout crowd from what I know, or something. Steve might be able to tell me, but I know I know the crowds are big, so and the crowds are noisy. It's always it's a really tough place to go and win. So, you know, we're ready for a huge challenge there, and you know, we know that they've had some players away, but the players they do are quality, and we're looking for a big performance away from home.
And finally, you've got a lot of players come back from injury. It's getting, I'd say it's competitive at the moment for selection. Everybody wants to play now. They've had their break, so training been tough.
Training has been tough and been competitive, and there's been a bit of edge about it. And even today, the guys trained really well and delivered the intensity needed, especially some of the guys that, you know, competing for positions. So you can see that they, you know, how much they want it and how they're bringing that intensity to training. So it's been great.
This game in and of itself is a bit of an island because you haven't played for 3 weeks. You then have 2 weeks off and you play again on March the 3rd. I mean, from a coach's perspective, would you prefer if this game wasn't here, or do you just go, right, this is the one game we can really maximise our efforts because we do have a break afterwards and we do have a lot of time to put some extra work in beforehand?
I don't think I can't get that deep on it. I think it's we know we maximise our efforts every week, and we know we want guys to go out and just perform to their best every week. So, and that's the same as coaches. We're putting the maximum amount of effort into every week and trying to be consistent with the energy we bring to our presentations and everything we do. So, I think it's important that I'm consistent with my behaviour and know that every point matters, doesn't it? So the same points, you know, we have a win here versus Munster on New Year's Day. It's the same amount of points to go and get a win in Cardiff, isn't it? So it's important to understand that every point matters. So going and trying to win games away from home is just really important for us.
And again, at this time of year, a lot of teams are disrupted by call-ups to Six Nations. So therefore, when you do your analysis of Cardiff, are you looking at overall structures? Because you can't really predict who is going to be available for them. So you look at everything Cardiff does as a unit rather than, say, individual players.
We wouldn't focus solely on individuals in any week, really, bar a few. You know, I think most times you're looking at the overall structures and what they do, the trends they do, and they'll be looking at us and saying the same thing. So the trends we do and how we attack and how we defend, and same for them. So how they attack and how they defend, we're looking at those things. We're not looking too much in individuals because you don't know on a week-to-week basis they could be injured or out of form or anything. So regardless of Six Nations, really.